Good evening, everyone, and welcome to a RotoWire #After Dark edition of the Euro DFS Strategy Show. My name is Jack Burkart. You can find me on Twitter at Jack Burkart, joined as usual by Ryan Belongia at Ryan Belongia on Twitter. Thank you for supporting my 2-hour delay. I had to go to the pub and watch this Italy-Spain game. Ryan, I thought it was a really exciting game despite being low scoring. We were talking backstage. Spain looked like one of the best teams in the tournament. Pretty nice team for DFS as well. A very good 1-0 victory. I don't think Italy looked really live to score a goal. They didn't threaten certainly as much as Spain did. First game of the slate was really entertaining. Slovenia got off to an early lead with a Zan Karničkic or goal or something like this, who I landed on in Showdown, so I will take my bailout. Thank you very much for that. And then we had Denmark versus England. England looked pretty good, got a 1-0 lead, and then decided first one to score wins. Ryan, what did you think about the games today, and how did you do on DK?
Yeah, on DK, I broke about even. I didn't cash the 555, so it's hard to have a good day when that happens. But I did well in the show or in the England showdown and cashed cash. So all in all, it was okay. Fell for that first game sort of with those prices. I mean, Serbia. I guess it's tough to know that Serbia would be that bad. I thought Serbia were really bad for the most part. And I fell for some of those soft prices. It was okay in the end. Kane and Eriksson sort of bailed me out. But I feel sort of fortunate because I just threw my high stakes lineup into cash instead of making the 2v2 that I thought was the right move, which was I could have taken out Sesko and Mladenovic for Fede DeMarco and Adam Charon. It was just a straight swap, and it was the same salary. It's like two guys that take set pieces or play this Mladenovic and my boy Sesko and go for some upside. Looking back, probably just should have went with the traditional cash play. I think it was a big difference. Might have been like a 15-point difference, but no complaints because we got there. But I was inspired by you. A little birdie told me you might be playing Jude Bellingham in cash, and I thought if Jack's making alpha plays over here, how am I not going to play Sesko? But unfortunately, he didn't do it yet again. How are you feeling?
I was feeling fine. I was having a good time with my buddy David at the local watering hole commoner garden. Shout out to them if you're in the Berkshires. But I felt like I played a good lineup. So just the team I played Tadic and Vlahovic at forward. Both looked like great plays. I did choose to play Bellingham. I was looking at lineups similar to yours, Ryan, but I didn't really want to play Kane in cash. I just thought he really wasn't getting the volume, and Bellingham was picking up tackles. It really was just a pathetic performance by England. I would not do that again. But heading in, I was pretty bullish on Bellingham, and a few people did play him. I played Eriksson, who only 70% of people played. I mean, against England, set piece takers will have some floor, especially when you're a team like Denmark. So I'll take that. Mladenovic got the early yellow card and got pulled. That stunk, but he had a good role. Ryan, you see Gianluca Scamacca. Originally, this team, before Harry Kane scored a goal and Bellingham relatively busted, I had Unai Simon, and then I had Nico Williams. And Ryan, I thought Nico Williams was going to be owned, and so I felt like I had to make a swap. And Nico Williams came in at like 8% in double ups. I know some people did play, and I was maybe had stronger opinions than I should have. People played Alexander Mitrovic, and I get it. He's a volume shooter. He got pulled really early. I mean, Vlahovic was the one who got pulled early. It seemed a little bit risky to play Mitrovic, I think. I mean, he was a good play. He was in that neighborhood. Other players to play. But, I mean, Nico Williams is a really talented player. He plays on the wing. That's a good DFS spot. I mean, it could go wrong, but I think that might have been an overreaction, Ryan.
Oh, I think it was a big overreaction by me as well. Just like what I said on the podcast, I think I said I would find the money to get to Yamal for sure. I think I said I thought Yamal had a higher floor and he would be worth. I didn't play either of them, but yeah, the people, including myself, saw that 2 points and 60-minute sub against Croatia And, you can't get that out of your head. It's just so funny because it's just one game sample, and Spain dominated, but Nico just didn't happen to do anything. Today he was the best player on the pitch, like just clearly. And but 10 points was basically the least he was going to score today. Eriksson too, that was nice. We said Eriksson, it was one of those weird slates where someone from the biggest underdog was really the only lock in cash. And it was nice that it proved that way. 13 points was actually like the least he could have scored if you watched the game. He was in such good positions, had like chances to get other shots off and better shots off, had some shots blocked and got subbed 10 minutes early. Still ended with 13 points, so that was nice. But yeah, the Nico Williams thing, I mean, Spain just looked great. They could have won that game 5-0 for sure. Kind of crazy that the only goal was an own goal. And then England, yeah, just incredibly disappointing. I mean, one of the worst performances you'll ever see. It was the worst game I've ever seen Declan Rice play. There's a compilation on Twitter going around of Declan Rice's performance. It was unbelievably bad. And Southgate after the game, I guess if England only had Calvin Phillips, they'd be scoring 5 goals a game. So it's too bad for them, I guess.
Ozzy in the chat, England is an absolute mess. I think the thing that highlighted the England did, I saw this on Twitter, a line change, subbed 3 different attackers. Ryan, they get a set piece, and Adam said in Discord they didn't know who was going to take the corner. Like they froze for a moment. It looks like just unserious behavior from such a talented team. I know that's kind of narrative-y too, but they just looked bad. I mean, you can be a boring team like France and at least look like you're in control of games. England look like they have no control and they're kind of just hoping to win straight up on talent. I'm looking through other comments. Yeah, Nico Williams absolutely took Gio Di Lorenzo to the torture chamber today. It was just a really outstanding performance. Another person right here saying the same thing. Yeah, I mean, interesting spot overall. I don't know. Frustrating, Ryan, but I don't want to dwell on it. Sometimes some binary things happen, and I've been the windshield in Classic Cash, but fortunately I play Showdown. That's the thing I'm saying now in the Euro tournaments, but survive and advance.
Good thing I got you on that. I've been telling you, Showdown Cash is where it's at, and now look what it's done for you this tournament.
Look, in Showdown Cash and the big $5 double up, I don't play a lot of volume in Showdown Cash, Ryan. I just click the machine optimal and make like a 1v1 and then go for it. But Eriksson was 20% captain, like Redcoat captain TAA. What are we doing here? Like this, I just don't know like what type of inputs make it a good team environment for England, how you're getting good enough minutes on Trent Alexander-Arnold to justify his utilization. And like 33% of the field captain TAA. So it must have been some price combination thing, but I just didn't see it.
It's got to be pretty encouraging to see that though, right? Like a player as good as Redcoat captaining TAA, 33%. I mean, it's easy to say in hindsight, but
I should look down ballot a little bit. Like I think I got a little bit of a bailout with the punt goal at the end, but still, like, I don't know. I just didn't agree with it. So fun stuff. Any last takes, Ryan?
No. On to the next one.
I'm really interested to get your opinion on this upcoming slate because I think I think I might have a contrarian point of view, but I'm just not sure. The first game we have is Ukraine against Slovakia. So Ukraine are slight favorites. Ryan, on this slate, there's no big favorites. You could treat every single one of these matches as a toss-up, and I think that would be fine, especially for tournaments. So it's like, oh, you're not playing Ukraine favorite set piece takers. They're 45% to win. Like, I don't know. Like, there's a lot of ways that this one could go, and the totals are very low overall. So Ukraine favored against Slovakia. In the noon game, we have Austria favored against Poland. And I was impressed with Austria. They look like a good team. I don't like Poland in general. That's just a bias. Poland might get Robert Lewandowski back, which would be a boost. We'll just have to see. Unfortunate, that's the noon game. And then we have France versus the Netherlands in our headliner match. Netherlands looked pretty good in their comeback win against Poland, at least for DFS, showed some attack. We kind of know who France are. Without Mbappe, I feel like they might even take a more cautious approach. Ryan, I'm just curious. I'm going to hold back my opinion. What do you think about the game environments for these for DFS?
Not the greatest, just in general. It seems like Mbappe is going to play, by the way, right? Just want to throw that out there. I think Mbappe is going to start.
I think he's going to start.
Well, I guess maybe not. Maybe he won't start, but just trying to decipher coach speak made me think that he would start. But yeah, I guess you never know. Um, Not that it really matters. I mean, it doesn't matter at all for cash games. He's 11-5, so you just never click in that. Um, but yeah, I don't remember a slate where the totals are like all this low. I like not even one team has an implied total above what yeah, 1.51. So wow, yeah, go and Austria with the highest total goal is going to be hard to come by. Um, yeah, Jack, my take is that there's not a lot of great spots on this slate. And like even in that last game, I don't mind fading that last game altogether where the prices are a little higher and just play a more balanced lineup, I guess, than opposed to I don't know, punting and trying to play some France and Netherlands guys. I don't even think it's that good of a spot for any of them. I mean, these France guys didn't have a floor against Austria. Like, do we think they're going to have one against Netherlands? And then for the Netherlands side, yeah, they were great in the first game. The guys had big floors, but France, might be the toughest team to score on in the tournament. Maybe it's Spain, but France is up there too. So yeah, I'm not really trying to play Netherlands guys, at least in cash games. So yeah, it looks like Austria is surprisingly the best spot. I mean, the best spot. I mean, Ukraine guys are in an okay spot too, I guess, but Ukraine suck, like you said. So I don't. They're not really a priority for me. I mean, they're fine depending on who starts. We'll get into it. But I guess if I had to pick a team I like the most, it'd be Austria, just because Poland are just always so disappointing. Just always. They're just not good. And so yeah, there should be some floor there for Austria. I don't know, but like they don't have a lot of players you want to click. I mean, they have Sabitzer, and that's pretty much it. I mean, yeah, you make case for other guys. We there's a chance Wimmer could start, and then you're definitely going to play him in cash games. But yeah, it's a tricky slate. I again another slate I kind of like because there's just not a lot of clear decisions.
I really like this slate, Ryan. I think it's fun, and I think there's a lot of mistakes that might be made. And I don't know. I'm going to put myself out there and say things that are dangerous are a mistake. Like I don't think playing Cody Gakpo for 9K against France is a good decision against a France team that suffocates all their opponents. I have a model. I'm trying to project fantasy totals in each of these games. That's the worst game environment on both sides. They're both good teams. France just make these games slow. They muck them up. I don't really see enough floor to justify a 9,000 Cody Gakpo price tag. I'm not sure there's enough floor to justify a 9.7K or whatever it is Antoine Griezmann price tag, Ryan. So I'm really not that interested in that match. Austria just don't have enough guys that we necessarily want to play. I mean, Marcel Sabitzer looks like a great play, and for some reason we can play him as a forward. And I agree, I don't like Poland. Ryan, the team with the highest fantasy total that in my model, I mean, take this for what it's worth, is Slovakia, believe it or not. Ukraine kind of do stink. Slovakia showed some juice during qualifying, and I think there's some decent players. I think we just might end up on guys in this first game overall because Ukraine have some midfielders with good roles and good prices overall.
Yeah, we're on the same page. That's what I was thinking too. We're gonna end up on some guys in that first game.
Maybe you're more machine than you think, Ryan.
It seems that way so far this tournament.
Let's break into the forward position. So, Ryan, you said it. I just want to emphasize it. So, if Kylian Mbappe does start, and looks like we do have that projected in right now. So, Adam made that change. Only plus 125 to score. There's re-injury risk with the mask. I'm not sure he would play 90. I don't want to eat that sort of uncertainty. That's not the way to go in cash, right? I really don't think so.
Oh no, it's not even a question on this slate. It's just the price for one thing. The price isn't great. The matchup isn't great. The floor probably isn't great. The floor for that price is definitely not great. So yeah, I don't even think it's a question. I think for tournaments, it's going to be the rare slate where Mbappe is going to be a leverage play. So that's at least somewhat interesting. He can't be that popular on this slate, just with the price and the injury with everything.
Yeah, there's also not a lot of value at midfield, which might make it a little bit difficult to get to him. But maybe, Ryan, this is the time where we play leverage Kylian Mbappe and get rewarded. It's been about 24 years since that's worked out for us. But looking at other interesting forward options, I did mention Cody Gakpo, who I just slandered, so he's never made me pay for that, but he's around 9K. He did look terrific. He's a forward option, and Griezmann is also an expensive forward option. Ryan, I think the best forward is Marcel Sabitzer, especially if it's this lineup, because there's no Patrick Wimmer to possibly poach set pieces. Even if Wimmer is on, I do like Austria best, and I don't know, Sabitzer's a bit of an alpha, so I just like him, and I think he has a good floor even from open play. Ryan, there's this meme. It's like, the mom, it's like, oh, no, we're not going to get that. We have this at home. And for forward, a name that stuck out, why pay 9,700 for Antoine Griezmann when we have a 6,500 Marcus Thuram at home? Thuram has an okay floor for club, and he's been flashing pretty well for country. And I think, got like an 8-point floor in the previous game, Ryan. I don't know. Who are you liking in cash games?
That's interesting. I wasn't expecting you to bring him up for cash games, but it's not that bad of a shout. Decent price, and after last game. But yeah, Sabitzer, he's just first guy in, right? Funny that Sabitzer's forward eligible, but Phil Foden, Saka, Musiala, Havertz, I mean, just the list goes on and on, aren't forward eligible, but Sabitzer is. So, thanks, DK. We'll take that, I guess. I mean, yeah, we're going to play Sabitzer whether or not Wimmer starts. Like, it just doesn't matter. It's probably the best matchup. He'll take some set pieces, maybe pens, depending who's on. But yeah, for cash, it's fine. After that, though, yeah, I wasn't sure what I was going to do after that. Cody Gakpo, yeah, that game against Poland might have been the best game I've seen him play. He looked really good, and he actually looked I guess faster and quicker and just like, I don't know, better physically than he did for Liverpool, which was nice to see. But yeah, I'm not going to play him here at 9K against France with no set pieces. I mean, that's just strictly a tournament play in my eyes. I think Griezmann probably slightly better for cash, but even I don't think that is a must at all. I mean, he was 8,200 against Austria in the first game. Why did his price go up 1,500? I mean, he had 8 floor in that first game, which I actually think is like pretty normal outcome for that spot against Austria. And I'd be surprised if he scored 10 floor points here. And he might score 10, but like, that's not really a must for 9,700. So yeah, I don't know, Jack. Like Sabitzer, and then kind of figure it out. So yeah, your Thuram shout is okay. I'd be willing to punt. I'd be willing to go cheaper. I'm looking. I'm not sure who.
Who's cheaper? Oh, you don't know.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. I'm like actually really no one. You'd have to go to Slovakia. I don't really know if I want to do that. I mean, you could play this 4K guy if you think you can stack the rest of your lineup well enough.
Robert,
yeah, I don't know. Second forward's tough. Oh, he's 4,400. This Schranz guy who scored in the first game is 4K. I just don't think there's really no cheap options besides the Slovakia guys, right? Unless I'm missing someone.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll have to tinker around with some of those cheaper constructions. Schranz did score the goal. Not a player who showed a lot of floor in qualifying. I don't know as much about Boznick, but you're kind of just, maybe it's a similar thesis, Ryan, to like this Ray Minaj. You just pay someone and then you can spend up elsewhere. You just might not need the money, Ryan, because there's not many defenders to pay.
Yeah. So maybe this is, so maybe you do end up on one of these more expensive guys that's not in a great spot. I don't know. You might just be able to do it.
Yeah, one thing that concerns me about just like, game theory and cash games, I don't really want to die on this like Marcus Thuram is diet Antoine Griezmann hill, and just in terms of price, because I don't think I need to play 3 $7,000 midfielders. There's like a couple slightly cheaper options who are going to be in a good spot. And also like Griezmann was absolute giga chalk in the first slate. He's a name that people like to click and cash a lot. I don't want to lose at second forward if I'm going to be trying to fade Griezmann. I mean, that's just something where I can see it going wrong. Normally, I feel like a coward saying that, but I'll save my Thuram bull takes for the single entries and some GPPs.
Yeah, I think that's the right move. I think you might just be able to play Griezmann, and you don't want to
have to suffer too much.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, right. You don't want to lose by not playing Griezmann, and it's probably just kind of easy to do on this slate where there's not a lot of opportunity costs and not a lot of floor and not a lot of goals. So
yeah, like all the goalkeepers are going to be the same, so you can just play the Polish goalkeeper if you want. Probably you can spend down as much as you need. You don't have to pay up for defender. Yeah, there's ways to get to Griezmann.
Yeah, Stohato in the chat. What about Usman? Yeah, I was thinking that too. I think that's what he means. I was thinking that before I saw that Mbappe was going to start, because then Usman would take corners. Actually, what happened in that first game? I didn't even check. I have to check the set pieces, but I thought Mbappe would be the one to split with Griezmann, but if Mbappe is out, then
Griezmann took everything.
Took everything, yeah, and he normally does take a majority, but sometimes they want a right-footed corner, and I had noticed that it had been Mbappe over Dembele recently. So yeah, I mean, I like the price discount on Dembele, but it's just not a good spot, and he's going to get subbed. And if he doesn't have sets, I mean, it's like, it could play anybody. He's just a forward.
I mean, I think maybe something to Stoyodo. You should tell us if it's the hard or soft J, so we can finally squash this beef Ryan and I have on how to pronounce it. But I don't know. I think it's fine to play like Dembele in a single entry, and if you needed, if you just somehow landed there in cash, I don't even think that's that outrageous a play just because of how open it is. He's a good play, I think.
Okay. Yeah, it'd be nice to know, because every time I see the name in Discord and in the comments, I pronounce it with the H. So it looks like I'm wrong. Thank you. Stojodo. Okay.
Stojodo. There we go.
Been pronouncing it in my head with an H my whole life.
It's like when you listen to an audiobook and then someone's like, you just don't know how the names are pronounced in whatever weird fantasy book that you have. Yeah, I think that's it for the forward position. I mean, Savitzer looks like the best play, and then maybe you just have to decide what you like at midfield and defense most, and then you can kind of comfortably click a forward in a lot of ranges. I kind of agree just on principle getting to Griezmann, just so I don't get cooked by a set piece taker who's on one of the best teams in the world.
Yeah, so the reason I was so wishy-washy and non-committal on the second forward is because I have Marko Arnautovic in there, but it seems like he may not start, and I don't think I'd be willing to play Gregoric for the same price. But now that I'm hearing, if these other guys like Dembele are fine, Gakpo, people are going to play, like, what's wrong with playing, the center forward for cheaper in a better spot? But Gregoric is not, but Arnautovic I feel like would be fine.
I mean, if you had to emergency swap to Thuram based on how we played yesterday, you'd feel better than an emergency swap to Gianluca Scamacca, Ryan.
Oh, yeah, especially on the slate tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah. Any interest in Lewandowski if he starts? I mean, that's a name we just didn't mention. I mean, talk about a center.
Actually, I think it's fine. I think it's fine. I actually think it's fine. Yeah, because there's just no good second forwards. I mean, look at the guys I just talked about. Like, Lewandowski can't be that much worse than a Dembele or Arnautovic or any of that, He takes pens and he's going to play 90 minutes. Even with the injury, that's the thing. If Lewandowski starts, he's a favorite to play 90 minutes.
Yeah, I think he's in the Cristiano Ronaldo mold where it's like the team exists to get the ball to Robert Lewandowski. So I like guys in that spot. Lewandowski is only 7,700. He's not the Cristiano Ronaldo. What was he? 11,000 in the previous slate. So, yeah.
Yeah, Lewandowski is funny. He's I guess cash viable, which is kind of funny as like the biggest underdog or second biggest underdog or whatever.
Yeah, nice. Let's dig into the midfield spot then. A lot of midfielders who are interesting. Ryan, of course, the Ukrainian midfielders are interesting. We are currently projecting Yuri Sudakov, Mikhail Mudryk, Viktor Tsigankov in. And I think corners worked out so that Tsigankov took them and then he was subbed off. We had Mudryk. Ryan, what was exactly the pecking order on the Ukraine set pieces? I think that's important to nail down.
Tsigankov took all three in the first half, but I want to say they were all on his side. He's also left-footed, so I think he probably would split with Mudryk, it looked like, because Sudakov didn't take any, but Sudakov took a free kick. Sudakov took a free kick that was a shot, so he might do that again. But I don't think Tsigankov would take any if Malinowski started, which is something to look for, because Tsigankov was taking because he's the only left-footed guy out there, but Malinowski is better at corners than Tsigankov. So and he might start, so keep an eye out for that. I'd be willing to play Malinowski in cash games if he started. But if he doesn't, then yeah, I think corners would probably be Tsigankov and Mudryk.
Yeah, and both those guys look pretty good at 7K. I wasn't impressed with Ukraine, Ryan, but they get a good floor. And if Ukraine succeed, they're likely to contribute in that. And we saw that if they fall behind, there's sort of this like really late push floor that they have. I think it's a decent spot for the Ukrainian midfielders, especially in a bounce back spot. Other midfielders who are interesting, we have Lucas Herschlin for Slovakia. He's mid only. He has a really good floor. We might only get 70 minutes, Ryan, but I think he looks like an awesome play personally. Whether it be in tournaments, I think he's certainly in the cash pool if you don't trust the Ukrainian midfielders. Who else are you looking at in the midfield? First of all, what do you think about Herschlin as a play? We also have Duda for 5,000 on the Slovakia side, who should also split set pieces. Just a lot of midfielders in the first match.
Yeah. The two, I was going to mention those two guys, Herschlin and Duda. I think either of them are fine. The minutes are a little bit annoying for Herschlin. If you somehow got word that he was going to play 90, yeah, I agree. He'd be like a lock almost.
I jam
on this slate. Yeah, because they're underdogs, but Ukraine is a fine matchup for anyone. Ukraine they're not going to dominate the game from start to finish, and there should be some floor points in there for Slovakia. So I think either one of those mids are fine. Should be them splitting sets, but Herschlin's got much more upside. He's actually like a pretty talented and skillful player. I mean, he almost scored a brilliant goal against Belgium, that first time volley from that cross, but keeper made a good save. Anyways, yeah, I do like Herschlin on this slate.
Yeah. Just going back, Baird left a comment. Swiderski, who are projecting to start, might take set pieces. He's saying would split with Zielinski. I think Swiderski is a cheap forward option who would be available to us in the Poland game if you want. Yeah, Ryan, I'm bullish on Herschlin. Like, just look at his game logs. Just go to FOTMob and look at some of his game logs. Like, this is a guy who was made for DraftKings scoring, it seems like. So I'm rather bullish on him because I like that game environment. But it could be 60 minutes and he's pulled off, especially if he gets a stupid yellow card, Ryan. Like, we've seen yellow card guys get the axe really early. We've seen a lot of surprising substitution patterns overall. So, I mean, whatever minutes projections we give for these guys, wide range of outcomes. But I agree, full heart and voice in that. Looking at midfielders in the other matches, Ryan, I feel like we're going to be loading up on the midfield position in the first match. Jakub Moder is available for the Stone Min if you need it, so that's at least vaguely interesting, and he's a good player. I just don't know how long he'll play. I don't know some of the prices on the Poland guys off the top of my head. I don't really want to play. We don't even have him in right now, but Joey Veerman, if he starts, I've seen some news that he might not start because of worries with his potential second yellow. I feel like midfielders from the first game are best, Ryan, but who do you like from the other matches?
What a ridiculous reason not to start somebody that would be. I can't believe that. If they think,
that's what I read.
Yeah, I know. Like, I just can't see it. If they think he's in the best 11, like, it's fine if you get a yellow in this game. You just sit out the third group game and then you're fine for the knockouts. But yeah, anyways, I don't think you're going to click him against France anyway. Yeah, the thing I was going to say, so it seems like a lot of the best mids are in that first game, but the best mid might be in the second game, but he's probably a slight underdog to start. But I do think like there's a 25 to 33% chance that Wimmer starts and maybe takes more set pieces than Sabitzer. I think it was Ozzy saying Wimmer lock. Yeah, so like you don't want to lock your whole lineup up and not be able to play Wimmer. At least I don't. You could still play him in the flex. You play two mids from the first game and then find a way to fit Wimmer in the flex. I'm sure that would work. But yeah, I just want to be a little bit flexible in case he starts.
Yeah, he looks really good, Ryan. He'll split sets and active winger, someone we get 70 minutes for. It might be similar to something like Harishland, but I think we're getting a better price and a better game and a more favorable matchup. I didn't think about that, Ryan. That's a big headache. I'm going to have to think about how.
But I'm thinking about it more now. It's not like the end of the world, but because where would he play? Left back / left winger. It's really just a price thing. It's not like he's this smash play, but he is a guy with a decent floor and some upside. But yeah, just something to think about.
How expensive is he?
He's 5,600.
I'd rather play him than Duda, for example.
Yeah, no, for sure, and and you'd probably rather play him than 7K Ukraine mids, even though they're fine plays, but
yeah. Oh, very interesting. Maybe we'll be able to find a leaked lineup and post that in Discord.
Also, a good comment from Stajoto. The Austrian that will score is Baumgartner. I think Baumgartner is a fine play in any format. He had scored in like 5 straight games for Austria going back before last game. And he's one of the more likely to play 90 minutes and just sort of a guy who's just a good player who can, he scores, assists. Just, they don't have a lot of attackers in that team. Look at that lineup. He's one of there's like 2 attacking players in that team. 2.5 if Sabitzer, the forward, and Baumgartner. That's like it almost. So I do. I think Baumgartner, he's almost fine. He'd almost be fine in cash too. I think he's cheap enough to just play him wherever.
Yeah. I agree completely. Yeah. I don't really know why Konrad Leimer is starting as a right midfielder. Maybe that had to do with like maybe a more control approach, Ryan. It could change.
Yeah, you're right. It could change. That was, they probably had a specific lineup for France. We see this all the time. These teams have different lineups when they play one of the top teams, and then they get a matchup where they're the favorite, and it's completely different.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me to see that changed. I think that was probably too good a breakdown of midfield, Ryan. Any other takes you got to get off your chest?
No. Yeah, I think that was a good breakdown. Oh, if you need a punt, actually, yeah, if you need a punt, I think someone like Leimer would be a fine punt because there's not much for punts. But like Leimer seems like Austria have a bunch of cheap guys. Leimer, Grilic, Seawald. I think Leimer is the one who would be most likely to score or assist. Not that it is likely, but he's just better than the other ones.
Yeah. All right. Very nice. Moving on to defender, it's not a particularly strong position overall. Ryan, one name that looks pretty good, David Henko on Slovakia. He's a player who's somewhat of an attacking player, crosses a lot from open play. No set pieces really, though. I think he's 4,900, so he's reasonably affordable. That was one name that stuck out to me. Either the Austrian fullbacks look good. I kind of like Stefan Posch. That's an interesting name. Nathan Ake is kind of in the DFS axis of evil for the amount of assists and goals he scores whenever I'm not rostering him. Fortunately, I don't think I have to worry about him in Classic. We'll see about Showdown. You could probably spend down twice, Ryan, in one of these Austrian fullbacks, though. I'd like to do that. And I kind of like Henko. What do you think?
Yeah, it's one of the worst slates, one of the worst 3-game slates for defenders you'll ever see. you can just kind of quickly go through the teams. Like, you don't want to play any of the France defenders. I mean, Theo had a good game, but not in this spot, and he's not cheap or anything. You're not going to play any Netherlands guys against France. We're not going to play any Polish guys. They don't have any good ones. Ukraine either don't have any good defenders. Slovakia, you mentioned Hanko, so there's your first guy. Hanko's in the pool, and then Austria. Posh is their best one, so he's in the pool, and then I guess you throw Mwene in there. He's okay. So it's kind of like 3 decent defenders, and none of them are even that good. So I think I want to play one of those guys. I don't know, maybe you can afford to, but you don't even have to play one of them, but I would like to play one of them. So really, yeah, I saw 3 decent defenders. You have the 2 Austria guys and then Hanko. I mean, I didn't look too much. Like, is there someone I'm missing?
No, I thought that you would tell me if I was missing anyone.
Pekaric's cheaper, I see, but I don't want to do that. 3,900. I don't want to play that. Ukraine.
He's also old and had
He's
qualifying.
Yeah, so. Exactly. That's actually I didn't say it, but that's like I don't want to put. He's like 38 or something. Mikolenko, apparently he's back in training. That actually, because like someone like Zinchenko would be fine too, but he's not a defender. So, but if you get Mikolenko for 4K, I think that would be fine. I can't go back to Konoplia after what he did to us last time. I just can't do it. And I don't think he's a good play anyways. So yeah, I would like to get one of those Austria guys or Hanko, but I don't think any of them are musts,
Yeah, I'm going to look more into Hanko, and maybe I'll make a blurb when I run projections. But I think he's a pretty solid play, Ryan. Belgium probably not the best for like floor from a fullback, but like I think the way David Hanko plays is how we want our fullbacks to play it for DFS. So he's a name I at least want to look in a little more. Someone who I might be a little bit more bullish than you are on at least first glance. Bear is saying that Vavro and Skriniar are high quality center back punts on the Slovakia side. I could see myself getting there, especially in tournaments. I mean, it seems like a pair your center back with goalkeeper sort of slate in GPP overall. And if I'm playing some Herschling, maybe there hasn't been a CB goal that really has broken the slate yet, Ryan. So maybe
you're right.
Maybe this is the one.
Did we mention Zielinski going back to midfield? I think he's fine for cash too, actually.
It's just really crowded. I mean, he scored a goal. He did take some. No, I think he had an assist, right, Ryan?
An assist from a corner.
Took some set pieces. You were concerned about minutes because he got iced out of the Napoli squad, but it looks like that wasn't such a bad thing.
I was concerned about that. I was also concerned about sets, especially when Szymanski started, but it was pretty clear from that first game that Zielinski had the priority on corner kicks. Yeah. I'm not sure if that changes with Swiderski, if it's Swiderski who starts, but 6,200 for a matchup against Austria seems fine for cash games. If you land on Zielinski, it's not the worst thing. If you, I don't know, say you don't play Herschling or Mudryk because you're thinking that Wimmer's going to start and then he doesn't, and you have to end up on Zielinski. Like, that's fine.
Yeah, not a disaster. It's interesting. There might not be like a over 40% rostered midfielder in cash, Ryan. It seems like there's a lot of options. So you're gonna have
you're right. There isn't one. None of those guys we said stand out like above the others. Where you're like, oh, that's the one.
They're all good plays, but there's no one who's like clearly the play. They're telling me it's pronounced Hancho, David Hancho. I'm trying to pick up new pronunciations on this one. So shout out to him. Goalkeeper, Ryan, we're almost at 40 minutes. Literally, you can treat all these teams as the same, and whatever goalkeeper you need is fine. What do you think?
Yeah. I was thinking to play someone from the last game, France or Netherlands. But yeah, like, I don't know, like you said, any keeper in this spot is fine. I would like to get up to the Austria guy if I can, but it's not a must. Just make it correlate. I'm just gonna have it correlate with my lineup. It doesn't really matter who it is on this one. But probably going to have a Ukraine piece or two. Definitely going to have an Austria piece or two. So I don't want the Slovakia goalie or the Poland goalie. And sort of like today's slate, where I pretty much played all Simone and Donnarumma. I'm going to play a lot of the France and Netherlands keepers.
Nice. I don't disagree. I mean, what is Verbruggen like 4,400? It's like 200 difference with Chesney. So
I do kind of like the Austria keeper too, if I can get there.
Yeah, I mean, maybe there's some shot volume, especially from Lewandowski. Maybe he's a player who you can pick up a couple extra saves from. And Poland kind of stink and maybe don't have a lot of teeth. So
that's kind of what I think. Yeah, like just based on the first game, Austria will feel like they can get a win here after playing well against France, but coming up short. Like it's a spot where they need it. So kind of like Austria.
Yeah. All right. Nice. I think that was one of our better breakdowns, Ryan. Any last words for the people? Shout out to us. We're awesome.
No, but I think it's an interesting slate to play Mbappe in tournaments. Not in cash games, but I think you'll get him lower owned in tournaments if you can find some punts you like. I also think it's a great slate to just fade France and just play the other spots too. You can go a lot of different ways. It's another fun slate.
Yeah. I think in GPPs, Ryan, my take that you gave a little Mbappe shout. I'm gonna give a shout. Get ready to learn Slovakia, buddy. I think I'm going to lean into my projections, preferring Slovakia. I'm going to take that as my perceived angle or edge on this. I don't know if it's an edge. My model's pretty simple and it probably has plenty of blind spots, but why not lean into it against an unconvincing Ukrainian team with a Slovakia team with some cheap players we can play? Maybe we can finally hit one. I've had some close calls in that dollar GPP at top 5, but of course, always a bridesmaid, never a bride. The Jack.
It's coming. Hey, you got a showdown win the other day. I think the classic's coming.
Yeah, that's true. I'm the Showdown Cash Game King. So join us in Discord if you want my advice on that. RotoWire.com/soccer trial. If you're not already a member, you all know the drill. Comment, give a like. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. It's always fun to have a big live chat. Ryan, we'll be back here tomorrow. Who's harder working in soccer DFS than us?
Nobody, Jack. Let's go.
Nobody. Let's go. Good luck, everyone.
Good. Thanks, Jack. Good luck, everybody.